Hello and welcome. My name is Kat or Catherine and I'm a knitter based in Hertfordshire in the United Kingdom. This has been my little space on the internet where I've documented my knitting journey from day one all the way through to now, sharing and connecting with other makers around the world. Today is going to be back to a slightly more normal episode. However, I am going to, for the first two objects, be travelling back in time ever so slightly. And that's not because they're vintage patterns, that is purely because these are objects that I finished a while back and either haven't spoken about them because I've forgotten or I didn't want to potentially spoil a surprise for our wedding. So I'm quite excited. I have got myself a cup of tea which I must pour. I'm having a little sencha in one of my favourite bits of pottery today. This was hand thrown in Hawaii. I have a little bit of a dream to visit Hawaii one day. So yeah, I hope you have a cup of something and maybe some knitting, some making of some sort. And just up front, today I am wearing my Favo sweater, I believe it's called, which was a pattern by Fibre Tales that I had the pleasure of test knitting. And it's knitted in Snelden 3-ply and drops mohair. I love this jumper. Yeah, that's lovely. So let's travel back in time a bit. If you are new here, first of all, welcome. And if you're returning, welcome back. Those that have been here for a while will maybe recognise this. So this was going to be my wedding top. Again, if you're new, I recently got married and I did wear a knitted top. This was the version that I initially made for myself. And this is the second version I knitted of my own pattern. And I knit it entirely in mohair. This white mohair was actually in my stash for nearly a decade. I actually ended up using two. So the last stripe, as you might be able to just about tell up close, actually was a slightly different yarn, and I think it was a slightly lower quality. So my guess is that this is Rowan Kid Silk of sorts, maybe Kid Silk Haze, and this one is something else. I can't be more useful because it is that old. And then this one is a brand that I'm not going to talk about, but it is a mohair, indie-dyed mohair. And yeah, I really was very happy with this, mostly the yoke and then up to here. And I wasn't sure on the sleeves. Now they do sit quite nicely when it's on. They look a little bit better on than off, but when it got closer to the wedding, well, not the wedding, our wedding, my skirt sat a lot lower than it had done initially. So this looked really sweet beforehand. It sat just as the dress finished, so I did still have a little bit of a waist even though it was oversized. But it just looked a bit naff because the skirt ended up sitting a bit lower and I didn't want my belly showing on our wedding day. So although I do really like it, what I might do is rip back maybe even to here and then bind off, so I've just got another little top that I can throw on. But I do really like this. This is a pattern that I started writing up, and I think I've got the grading done, and I have got this is Audrey. If you're new, if you're returning, you'll recognise. Hi, honey. I have a lovely friend, Angie. Hello, Angie, if you're here. It's lovely to see you again. And Angie has been amazing and supporting me and helping me out on my knitting journey so far. I owe a lot of gratitude to Angie, even though she would say I owe her nothing. I want to keep giving back. So that's the mention to her. But through talking to Angie and my nervousness about grading still, I have asked a friend to knit it before it would even go to a tech editor or testing. That's gone on hold, so if there's anyone out there that would be willing to try this pattern, knowing that I've done my absolute best and I believe the sizes to be correct, if anyone would like to test this in an alpha sort of way for me, I'd be very grateful. I can obviously give dimensions and sizes, and you can tell me from the outset if you feel like this is going to work for you or not. So that would be something that I'm looking for. And the second version, or third version, I knitted. So I do actually have 3 versions of this top now. Kind of by accident, but is in the second size that I've written. And I'm really pleased with it. As I said, I finished this a little while ago, but here she is. So this is a short sleeved version. I really love the I-cord bind off. It's just a little one, so it's just lovely. I mean, I'm really happy with this. I feel like, for me personally, with my Uniqlo trousers and my skirts, it's a really nice little piece. I don't want a big one, but the yarn was this sage green mohair, and then I have now used basically every scrap I've got. I've got a tiny bit left of this sage green, and this is, I don't want to get it wrong, it's definitely Malabrigo. Is it Ratista? I will pop it on the screen and in the description box, but it is also in my project page. But this is like a DK single ply, and I'm really impressed with it actually. I've never used Malabrigo yarn. I love the colour, or colours. It is very mermaidy to me, which brings me a lot of joy really. But it's also like a lavender field. That was how I saw it. The lovely river of a knitter's homestead posted a picture of her garden, I think it was, and it really reminded me of it as well, and that just kind of made me very happy. So yeah, this is a pattern that I am sort of working on. I have it written up. I would like to send it to my lovely tech editor very soon. And I had a lot of fun knitting it 3 times, which sometimes I enjoy knitting a pattern a few times, and sometimes it gets a little bit, but I have enjoyed that, and I don't know whether that's just out of excitement or because it is quite an enjoyable knit. But yeah, very pleased with that, and I'm quite grateful for the feedback really. Silly kitten. So next I'm going to share this one, and this is because the full pattern has been released now, so I can. And this is the Pages of Wands Mystery Knit Along by Yarn Flakes, or Audrey. And I have really enjoyed this, and I have done up to, I think I've just started the 4th clue. I'm using Drops Allura? No, definitely not. Drops Nord, which is 45% alpaca, 30% polyamide and 25% wool. It's a really soft base, and not because I don't like it, because I really do. I think it's a gorgeous pattern. Audrey has done a very good job incorporating all of the tarot cards, well not all, but quite a lot of tarot cards, and that is the inspiration behind this cowl. But I think what I'm going to do is finish this little chart here and then call it finished and do it as a 1 wrap cowl, and gift it to a friend, because a friend has said that they really like it, and I've just got a feeling that they're not gonna want a double wrap. The rest of the chart is beautiful, it really is, but at the moment I've got quite a bit of excitement for some projects that are coming up, and I will get to share more about that next week, which I'm really excited, but until it's happened, because I can't believe it's happening, I don't want to almost jinx it. So I'm not, and I don't, like I said, I don't really like keeping secrets here, but I am very excited. Really excited. Really excited. But yeah, so other projects are taking a priority, and if I can get a few projects that are in progress off my needles so that I can bring a bit more focus to the upcoming projects and ideas I have, then that's good. So yeah, that's a great way of getting this finished a little bit sooner, and ready to be gifted. I have done quite a bit of destashing lately. I might do another round next week, and I've got to say it feels really good to pass on, again I have Angie to thank for that, yarn that no longer serves me to other people that will get to enjoy it and love it. So that's been quite interesting, and it means that I will be able to fund my adventure next week and a few other bits that I'm excited to put my energy into. Yeah. So this is going to be quite a short episode by the looks of it. At the end I will pop in footage from the Highlands, which, oh, bear with me 1 second. That was nothing too exciting. It doesn't want to recognise, oh it does, it doesn't want to recognise my face anymore. The lovely postwoman. Do enjoy a moment to slow down and have a tea with everyone. I know that it's not quite the same, but it does feel like I get to, yeah, it's very nice. Thank you for being here. And then the last thing that I wanted to share today is I've not got loads to say about it, but this was my lockside hat that I showed last episode of this type, because the last video I put out I spoke about and reflected upon my entire jumper knitting from the last 12 months, which was quite, I didn't anticipate it bringing me to a bit more clarity on what projects I love and what I enjoy knitting, and it really did. So that was quite interesting. But the episode beforehand I shared this little hat that I whipped up. I was inspired by the trees at the side of the loch when we were in the Highlands, and there'll be footage of said loch at the end. And I was quite taken aback by how many lovely knitters were quite enthusiastic about it, and have asked for a pattern. So I have started to write it up from the notes that I took while I was knitting it, and I'm going to be using this fun colour, which actually I feel like this is going to be a really fun knit because of it. This is called Don't Forget to Love Each Other, and that is on my organic Highland base, 100% wool. It's lovely. And then this is Black Yarn's Classic DK, and I just think I asked the knitters in our Discord group between this and a blue to go with it, and it seems like somewhere between an icy cold morning and autumn, so it just felt quite good together. So I am knitting the hat again, but using these colours. As you can see, I haven't got the furthest on this. It does look a little bit funny, but I'll unfold it. But so I've done the ribbing and I have just started the trees, and I'm really happy with it so far. I mean, it's not, there's not an issue with it, so to speak, but because there's techniques that I've not really worked from patterns for here, I'm not 100% on how to write them, but my lovely tech editor is willing to support me through it, so I'm going to finish knitting this version from the notes I've got and write it up, and then hopefully in a few weeks time it will be with my lovely tech editor and then off to some testing. So it's actually only living in a organza bag. No other reason than it was just by the sofa and I just popped it in this bag very quickly. But yeah, that's sort of on its way, which is really nice. I'm not sure how many sizes it will be written for. I'm thinking just the 3. And the difference between those sizes will be very simple to achieve, and it would be easy to adjust further than that if you're but anyway, it might be a little bit more than just a beginner pattern because of the techniques it uses, but really if you're willing to spend a little bit of time, it doesn't take too much more brain power. But yeah, really quite happy with how this has come out. I have worn it a bit, and actually it goes really well with what I'm wearing today. You won't be able to see, but I've got a skirt on, but maybe it's just when my mum left for France, she left a few bags of clothes to go to the charity shop, and I took a few things that might get some love. Yeah, so that is really all I have to share with you today. I have 2 or 3 fairly big projects that I hope to be working on and sharing with you in sort of 2 weeks' time. Next week will probably be video footage of what I'm doing sort of this week when you'll be seeing this, if that makes sense. And then that will be the week after, where hopefully I can have organised a few thoughts, and basically it's like I found a big wave of inspiration which has meant I'm able to learn and given me a few bigger projects to sink my teeth into, which I think will be really quite interesting to share, and it might inspire others to join in with me. And I know that's not very clear, but hopefully it will be in a few weeks' time. Yeah, anyway, please let me know what you're up to, what you're knitting on. It is always really nice to hear from people, not just, hey, I'm enjoying the video, which is obviously I'm very grateful for, but it is lovely to hear about what you're up to and what you're working on, because it is very inspiring to discover new patterns, new designers, new yarns even. But yeah, I also just wanted to say a big thank you to those that have purchased my cowl pattern. I don't know how to articulate how grateful I am. That support has been very helpful to me, as well as made me feel a little bit more confident in designing, which was not what I anticipated coming from this journey, but I'm very grateful that it has been an aspect that I'm able to do. So anyway, I will leave you to take a little trip to the Highlands with me, and hope to see you again very soon. Look after yourselves, tell your loved ones you love them, and I will speak to you very soon. this is Loch Shiel, which is just next to the Glenfinnan Viaduct, or the Harry Potter Hogwarts Express train.